Hey, what's up everybody? It's Lids, and we're back for some more Gwent, and today we're playing the new Battle Rush seasonal event, which is an alternate game mode in which we have just 8 seconds to take our turn and 15 seconds to choose our cards in between rounds, which means we need to be lightning fast, and that's exactly what today's deck does. So let's go give it a look. So today we'll be playing a much requested Monsters Blood Scent Vampires deck that focuses on dealing a ton of damage with bleed and then having other engines that get powered up on our side of the board when we do all that bleed. So we're going to try to start off with some of our bleeding engines. Usually that means Nekurat first, or if you're on blue coin and you don't have anything to give the bleeding to, then maybe you start with a Wild Hunt Rider just to get some thinning going. But then you get more bleed with stuff like the Alp, and you also want to get down some engines that get boosted from that bleed early, using things like the Garkain, or better still, the Fletter. Then we have even more sources of bleed with things like Oriana, who is also a very powerful engine, as well as Dettlaff, and then huge bleed potential from Unseen Elder because we do have Devotion. And then in round 3, we can use Regis Reborn, who is going to get his base power increased for every turn that our opponent has a bleeding unit, which should be giving us a huge way to finish off the match. So that's pretty much all there is to it. The good thing is that for the most part, we can stick to that plan almost no matter what. So although there are a fair number of orders in this deck, which does make it a little bit tricky in this event in which we have so little time, because you don't need to adjust your plan very much depending on your opponent, it means you can pretty much just know immediately what you're going to go for and don't need to worry much about mid-game adjustments, which in an event with so little time to take your turn is important. So let's go see it in action. Alright, so going up against monsters here, and we'll go first. Alright, we have both Fletters in round 1, which is great, but we'd like perhaps more sources of dealing the actual bleed. Because you're pretty much our only reliable way of making that happen right now. Okay, that's better. Alright, so what are we leading off with, though? It might even be a Fletter. So yeah, the thinning from the Wild Hunt Rider was tempting, but given how we are sorely lacking when it comes to applying the bleed, I think maybe, do we want to go double? No. Let's save one of them. We'll save one of them for a later round. We do have Dettlaff, or rather Regis in hand, though, so that is useful. Okay, that shouldn't matter too much. And I think we're just looking at more bleed. And I guess we'll wait on that. It's a little bit risky waiting in this order ability, but we'd like to spread them out so that we can always get the value from Fletters. It's a bit of a risk we're running here, but should work by the looks of things. If we do that, and then it's a little bit tempted to wait to see if we can get it on the Elder Bear there. Okay, another Elder Bear. It's just to proc their thrives. I think we might go Naglfar and just take whatever the lower value. I mean, they're both very valuable cards, but I was gonna say just take whatever the lower value card is and get the other big gold card at the top of our deck. That might be the last thing we play in this round, though, depending on what this is. Okay, not too concerned, I don't think. There is something to be said for continuing to play here where we can actually get some damage from Dettlaff, but I think our lead is big enough here, especially when they're going to continue to take damage from this Blood Moon, that we can pass now. And that means we'll win round 1. Alright, and we did win on even. I think we want to bleed out a little bit here because they did not commit anything big in that round, so I'm a little concerned they have a lot of firepower remaining. So if we go for things like Bruxa, Alp, maybe even Mammuna, that could be useful. Did we not? Oh, I was like, didn't we use Crimson Curse? No, we used Dettlaff. Similar, but not quite the same thing. I think... Will we go Flutter this round? I guess we will. Could be very effective, of course, in round 3. Big card to build around, but we have so many other things working for us in round 3 with Regis, of course. Maybe we'll save Oriana, Unseen Elder. Okay, that's unfortunate, but as I said, we're in large part trying to get them to commit some big stuff here in this round. That's the primary reason why we are playing this round, because otherwise I'm concerned that although we have a lot of stuff that we can still use here, that they're going to have maybe a scenario as well. Not entirely sure what Mammuna is going to be used for. Like that. Basically, I was more or less waiting for them to commit this. They might also have Scratch a lot, but maybe that is enough for them to commit here in round 2 that we feel okay having bled out their scenario. Okay, this is a good first turn play. This would have been my preferred target for Mammuna, which admittedly doesn't have great options right now. In fact, not even sure what we are going to use Mammuna for. It's going to be to get, to get the Bruxa. I've decided. So that is the only one that we had one copy of in our graveyard and one copy that we'd not yet used over there, I think. That looks like it was still usable. Or still a decent option with Mammuna. So we would like to wait till we have Sabbath in that case. It does matter. We get the deployability on the Alp in that case. Okay, that's going to destroy us, isn't it? Yeah. Alright, other stuff we'd like to play early, perhaps you, and then do that. Can get a lot of value out of Crimson Curse in the long round. Gonna wait to see what they start playing, where they start playing more units. So I think if we do this, perhaps now, then Unseen Elder, Oriana are going to start looking really good very soon, so I think we're going to want to break them out. Okay, Weavis is boosting. Let's do... technically would prefer to have you in this row. We have the Devotion, so that gives us a ton of value on Unseen Elder. We want to get Oriana down here as quickly as possible now. We're gonna get rid of you, okay, but that does mean Oriana's a little more effective. Just gonna go for you because you don't have Bleed, although, again, stacking Bleed on a row that has the Blood Moon is generally a good thing to be doing. Okay, they're gonna lock Oriana. They have a surprising amount of control, wow. Okay, I think we might go Dole to lock here, and this is mostly just meant for setup to make sure that you get Regis. Alright, that's gonna hit something. Okay, that's actually not terrible. I would have preferred something else, because that already had a bunch of bleed on it, but, okay, Cauchet is obviously valuable, but yeah, we can at least get some value from Aen Elle Conqueror and Regis during the Thrive there. Speaking of Thrive, though, that's obviously what they're building around here, so this is gonna be interesting. Not quite sure how we're going to... Oh, I should have gone that in the range row. Should be Sabbath now. Yep, that we are. So now this does work. Okay, Man Trap for a bunch of Thrive procs. On a unit that has the bleed as well is also a good idea. This is going to be Mammuna. And it's going to be Alp. So we want to make sure we're getting bleed on something. Okay. So we get the deployability then. Ideally, it would even be the Man Trap because this does not have Thrive. Another Man Trap, though. Okay, this I think is going to be pretty close, but Regis is, of course, a very big finisher. So just how big, you ask? Well, we're about to find out. Because the answer is... big enough. Alright, it's going up against Nilfgaard here. And they'll go first. Alright, we have certainly some of our big bleed set up with Nekurat, and don't think we need 2 Bruxa. That's probably overkill. And I think we dump Feast of Blood. Okay, Garkain is another engine to get powered up from that stuff. Would have liked to see... oh, well, this could get interesting. Okay, then. Don't love the Veil, of course. Then again, they seem to be status-oriented as well, which means that Thirsty Dame is gonna love when they steal all of our vampires. Okay, so let's see. It was gonna be Bruxa here. I'm actually going to deliberately not use this because you already have a bunch of bleed, and so that's not a very useful order ability right now. You have Veil. Yeah, kind of saw this kind of thing coming, though. Alright, so now I think we go... Actually, why don't we get... Where is the Garkain out here? Then we'll go Alp. Could, of course, play our other Nekurat. Now that this one's been locked, and it is a very powerful card, but I think we might try to save that for a later round. Yeah, Double Thirsty Dame is not something we like to see. Crimson Curse honestly is tempting. Honestly is pretty tempting. In fact, you know what? I think we'll do it, and then we'll get Oriana out here in round 1. It's not always something that I prefer to do in round 1, because she is really powerful, but, you know, if we can save things like Unseen Elder and maybe Dettlaff with Naglfar, then we can still make that work. Flutter is a card that I really would have loved to have seen, however. Really should have gone for something in this row, to tell you the truth, because that would synergize more with Blood Moon. But we can go Alp. Okay, teleportation to replay. Oh, they're gonna lock Oriana. Okay. Oh no, they were too slow. They locked a Duchess in form, which is obviously not really something they wanted to do. That was, without question, a mistake. And we're gonna finish with Aen Elle Conqueror. At least that's what we'd like to do. Going Defender there. Might not even be quick enough to put that on the right unit. They did not. They got a little bit less value out of that for that reason. Okay, let's go do this. Then let's do this. Okay, so they're in a pretty tough spot now. They're going to take a bunch of damage from this bleed. Philippe is very powerful, and they obviously have vampires here. Let's see, though. They have not caught us. They're still going to take damage from the bleed. I think we pass here. So you're going to continue to get boosted at the end of our turn. We're taking a little bit of damage from bleed, but now they are in trouble. They are card down, and we are still in the lead. I think they should be able to catch us here on this turn, but that means they're going to have to go cards down for the rest of the match. Vilgefortz, uh-oh. This is a little bit scary if they get Dettlaff out. Except they accidentally do it on themselves. Oh, no, they were too slow. They were too slow. This is why Nilfgaard is dangerous in this event, guys. Especially statuses with order abilities where it is very possible to accidentally hit your own units. They do win round 1, but they have almost guaranteed that they've lost the match. Okay, so they go 3 cards down to win round 1. We still have some really big stuff here, and I think maybe we go Thinning with Wild Hunt Rider in this round, assuming that they dry pass, and then Naglfar can give us one of the few gold cards that we don't yet have, that being Dettlaff, which is, of course, a card we'd like to build around for our round 3 win condition, although card advantage alone should do us a lot of favors. This will help our consistency going into round 3 as well. So we will have 2 card advantage. Alright, and kind of looking for Regis, although we might be able to guarantee it with Naglfar. Let's see. Bruxa, we can probably do better than that. We have enough other engines, and with Gael in our hand now, it's technically not guaranteed. Technically still not guaranteed to see Regis. Okay, we'll take another Flutter. Sure. We may not get Regis. Let's lead with you, though. Okay, this is going to get locked, understandably. With their leader ability, they have to be quick, though. Emissary, they're going to boost it. Okay. We're going to want to get more bleed happening here. Let's get you down, and then we'll go leader ability here. Technically, I guess, could even make a case for getting both Flutters out before we start doing that, but... Torres. To replay that, you do not really want to do that, because you're losing all the boosts. So that was a probably negative point play there, to be honest. So that was quite risky. Let's get the other Flutter down. And hit you. Granted, we actually should have gone for Slizzard, because, I mean, they could consume Torres to avoid taking the damage from the bleed. Then again, Torres is an assimilate unit, so they might not want to do that. Okay, now I think we're going to go perhaps Dettlaff. Oh, I was going to say, because they have a bunch of stuff there, but now this is kind of what I was getting at. You give bleed to the stuff that cannot be consumed. I mean, they did have to sacrifice a pretty powerful unit in order to avoid taking damage from the bleed. But yeah, we want to get Dettlaff out here pretty soon. kind of waiting to see if they're going to play more stuff in a specific row, but that doesn't seem to be the case. Going to do it here because you already have the bleed, which means a little more value on the Blood Moon. And Unseen Elder, I mean, is obviously incredibly valuable here as well. Plenty of options on this occasion, because we basically have just about all of our big stuff in round 3, except maybe not Regis. That's not a huge deal for us. Go there. See if we can get our Blood Punch going. Oh, actually, you're going to die to the bleed on the next turn anyway. We're going to Yenvo. It's not going to matter here. We have 2 cards to spare, leader ability, lots of firepower. But as we said, we dominated round 1, and that led us to the win. Alright, so going up against Nilfgaard here. And we'll go first. Alright, so like having the Nekurats here, I think we probably dump Feast of Blood. That's a little bit too much on the Garkain and Bruxa front, I think. Flutter would be better. Not a lot of golds here, though, which is a little bit scary. If we will lead Nekurat, I highly suspect that this will get locks from their leader ability. Or they'll just try to damage it. Okay, why don't we go Flutter? Technically, should have done this first, but... And let's do this. Make them have to choose. If they're trying to go the damage route, they're not going to be able to destroy both of those. But they will try. Tempted to Crimson Curse here, to be honest. That is a lot of damage, though. That is a lot of damage. Okay, I'm trying to do it on here, but I was admittedly a little bit slow. Okay, good. Did still hit the one that I wanted, although, granted, would like to have also had time to use this ability. Such is the way of life in this event, though. Alright, they will lock, which I'm surprised they didn't do earlier, to tell you the truth, but that is in part why we have that second Nekurat and this Garkain, which can be a bit of a backup plan as well. Okay, I think we might do this, and then... Although you just have 1 power, which means the bleed damage is overkill, it is a way to remove you, which I think is definitely nice, because obviously they do seem to be building around that quite a bit. Alright, Spotter. Again. See, that's why I wanted to get rid of you. Now, might even go Crimson Curse here. It's a little bit later than I'd like to be doing that. We can also finish with Aen Elle Conqueror, which we may end up doing, or Don't Lock is also a little bit late, but we could do this and then Conqueror. Yeah, it's a strong combo, isn't it? That is a strong combo, isn't it? Go here for you. And then... that makes you a Thrive finisher. But that's a lot of value there and there. Such is the way of Spotter, which is pretty busted, but it's also very slow. Okay, I don't think we can win this one. I don't think we can win this one. I think it is in our best interest to pass here. So they'll win round 1 in that case. So now they could dry pass because we are on even cards here. We might need to get rid of you. Okay, obviously Unseen Elder is big. If they do dry pass, we won't have a throwaway, which might end up being the Garkain. I was kind of looking for Wild Hunt Rider, but okay, good, good, good. If they do dry pass, this is our play. Okay. Well. It's slow, for what it's worth. We don't Dominance. That does kind of stink. But tempo-wise, we did catch them, technically. What is the passive on this? After using leader ability, split damage? Okay. What is this going to be? Because I still want this, ideally. That is still going to hit you, isn't it? Yep, that's unfortunate. Okay. So this is very greedy from them. This is still very greedy. We do have more sources of bleeds. That's not a huge deal. We still would not have dominance, which is annoying. Because they had the opportunity to guarantee they'd go a card up in round 3. Ooh, I forgot about that there. We do need to play again, don't we? Darn. Yeah, we do. We get thinning, so at least there's that. So they very, very narrowly got away with that in round 2. Extremely greedy, and I'd argue still some questionable execution on their end. Okay, now this is unfortunate. Aen Elle Conqueror is the ideal target for Mammuna. Oh, alright. Don't love that. Don't love that. We did use some of our best round starters in the previous rounds. So we're now stuck with a couple of Bruxa when we would perhaps prefer to have had some of our other bronze engines here. So I think what we can do is go here. Get you out, so we can then do this. Yeah, I'm right-clicking, but it's not going to cancel out. Despite having done that well before the end of our turn, thank you, Battle Rush. Alright, I think we want to get Unseen Elder out here as quickly as possible at this stage. Because although Bruxa early is nice, Unseen Elder is an important engine. The earlier we get him out, the more value we get from him. What is Naglfar going to be? It might be Oriana, and if so, I think we need to once again go for that, and we're just going to have to go for a very late Bruxa. Yeah, because I think this is too valuable to pass up on. I mean, also valuable to have gotten that for Dettlaff as well. But we will see just how strong our engines here are. We obviously have the big Dettlaff finisher, or rather the big Regis finisher. But they have more cards than we do. Alright, let's do that. And it is a 45-point deficit here. We will still get some value from Unseen Elder, but there's their leader ability, which gives them some extra value as well. So, thinning from Renfri's gang, assume they have the other one out as well. This is potentially still winnable. Let's see, what is their finisher? They still have their other stratagem as well. Would have to be pretty big. It's Triss, though. That is huge. That is huge. They go the boosting route, but we still hold on for the win. So there's a look at a Monsters Vampires deck for the new Battle Rush seasonal event. If you liked the video, then make sure to hit the like and subscribe button and leave a comment down below. Let me know which other cards, archetypes, and factions you'd like us to experiment with next. And take a look at our Battle Rush event playlist to see previous decks that we've used in this event as well. Thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you next time.